The verse of the day is Acts 17:24-25, and it says, "He is the God who made the world and everything in it. Since he is Lord of heaven and earth, he doesn't live in man-made temples, and human hands can't serve his needs, for he has no needs. He himself gives life and breath to everything, and he satisfies every need." The title of today's portion of scripture is called Paul Preaches in Athens. And basically, he got to Athens and he saw a bunch of idols everywhere. And so now he's preaching to the people of Athens, reminding them of the truth, reminding them that God is the one that meets all of their needs, not these idols. Now, back in the day, an idol was like an actual thing that people made to worship in place of God. And to bring that into the modern world, it's basically anything that takes the God spot in your life. It's anything that you put above God. It's anything that you prioritize above God. All of us can have idols. All of us can relate to having a desire that sometimes takes over and does take the place of our trust in God. I think a really good way to identify, okay, do I have an idol? Is, am I trying to get any need met in my soul from people, places, and things that God is supposed to meet instead? Because that's when we root ourselves in the wrong things. That's when we get identity from the wrong things. That's when we get hurt because we try to gain things to fill our soul from temporary pleasures that don't sustain you long term, and from things that are very much changing from day to day. So that's kind of scary to put your trust in something that could change in a moment. The good news about God is he never changes. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and can actually meet all of your needs. And I feel like I say the statement, God meets your needs, so many times, so often. And you might be like, okay, what do you mean God meets all my needs? What does that mean? A few examples that come to mind are, say for example, you post something on social media. You're desiring the likes, but maybe you're not consciously aware that you're desiring the likes. But when you post it and you're constantly refreshing and you're constantly wanting more and more numbers and likes to rank up, and then you don't get what you want, you posting that was from a motive of needing love. You were craving attention. That's why you posted something with the motive to gain approval or to gain some sort of adrenaline burst of love. That is one example of going to the world to meet your needs, but it never works because you're constantly wanting to refresh. You're constantly wanting more because it doesn't sustain your heart. You're not actually getting your real true heart needs met. Where if you go to God and ask him to meet that need, and you go to God for all the love that you need, he's able to sustain you long term in a way that's concrete because his love never changes. His view of you never changes. His understanding of who he created you to be never changes. And so that's why you're able to go to him to constantly refill your heart, the need of love. We were created to need love. That's one of our basic needs, is love. And a big motive of getting our needs met in flawed ways is to gain love. We gossip to gain love because we're trying to connect with people and relate and feel accepted by people at the expense of someone else. We fall into sexual sin because we're craving love. We try to get love from people. We try to get love from those relationships in our life to feel something, to feel like we're enough, to feel that approval. We go to food to feel love. It helps us feel comfort sometimes. It helps us numb that pain that we're feeling. We go to substance to feel love, which is similar to food, just in a different way. Alcohol, drugs. This is how you fall into addiction with anything, because you go to these things to meet your needs that never lasts. So you get addicted to the temporary satisfaction, and God's trying to say, hey, I can meet that need long term. And if you put me above everything else, I will give you a joy that is able to sustain your soul forever. I think another way that we try to meet our own needs by feeling accepted is we share things with the motive to gain approval. We share, oh, I did this. Oh, I used to do this. I X, Y, and Z, because we're trying to gain some sort of acceptance from the world. We're all trying to be accepted. And if you go to the world to be accepted, you're never going to quench that thirst. If you go to God to be accepted, you get it instantaneously because he accepted you before you were even born. That's why you were born, because he accepted you. Today's verse and the concept of getting our needs met versus idols is just another reminder that anything God says is simply for our protection. God doesn't want us to get addicted to anything that doesn't really ever meet our needs and actually destroys our soul. God doesn't want us to put people, places, and things above him, because we will never truly get that satisfaction and it will just cause pain and confusion and frustration. So he says, don't have any idols, keep me first, because he knows that he can meet our needs. He knows that because he created us that way. And when we keep God first and in the correct order, the rest falls into place. We can still enjoy the things of the world, food, relationships, possessions. They can be blessings, but they're not the things that meet our needs. They're not the things that make us feel okay. They're not the things that tell us who we are. They are just added blessings. And that is how you live a life of sustainability in your identity in God, and how you maintain your joy and maintain your peace, because you're not getting anything that fills your heart need from anything but God, which is the safest thing you can do, because God never changes and the world changes every single day. I like the first sentence. It says, he is the God who made the world and everything in it. Since he is Lord of heaven and earth, he doesn't live in man-made temples. And human hands can't serve his needs, for he has no needs. I like that because it's a reminder that God is with you 24/7, not just at church. This is why relationship is so important. And relationship with him is so important because he teaches you how to get your daily needs met by him and not the world. And we start to understand that we don't have to do anything to meet his needs. His needs are met. He just meets our needs. We don't have to do anything to gain his love. He's already given that to us, and it's through the relationship that we start to experience that and then understand that he's the only one that can make our heart whole. He is the God who made the world and everything in it. When you think of a creator, the creator usually knows how the creation functions. So going to God, the one that created you, is the best way to figure out how you function and to function at your highest level, which means getting all your needs met from the only person who can. Go to God if you're lacking anything and understand that he's the only one that can meet your needs long term. Okay?